Hey guys, it's Conf Hollywood Studios here. First and foremost, I want to wish everyone a happy new year. Hopefully 2022 will be just as good, if not better, than 2021. And this video is looking ahead into the rest of 2022 by taking a look at the most anticipated coasters that will be opening in 2022. Now, I should mention first that these are only American coasters, no European coasters, no Asian coasters, just American. Because there are a lot of roller coasters this year, like a lot. So in this video, I'm only going to be looking at 11 of them. So you can say this is the top 11 most anticipated 2022 coasters. I'm not really laying it out in a top 10 list style, but I will be talking about the coasters in order from least exciting to most exciting, or least good to best. So let's start off with Defiance, which is coming to Glenwood Caverns. This ride looks really cool. It has one of the greatest settings of any coasters I've ever seen, being right on a mountainside. I mean, the way this thing is going to drop down and go through its elements is absolutely awesome. The only thing holding this ride back a little bit is it's really short. There's only 3 elements, which is the banana roll, 0G roll, and the top hat, not in that order, but it looks like it's going to be a really good ride with the elements it has. It's just too short to really be an elite coaster. However, I still think it's going to be a great ride, and it's great to see that Glenwood Caverns is actually able to get something this insane. They've been stuck with family coasters, but they do have the Haunted Mine Drop, which looks absolutely insane. But now they're going to have a big coaster that you can actually see, which is really cool. Next up, we have Palindrome at Codaland. This is another Gerstlauer. This will be opening later this year, and this ride actually looks really cool. It was announced at IAAPA 2021, and it's a shuttle coaster that has some really cool elements. That twisted drop looks like it's absolutely going to fling you out of your seat, and that stall over the road looks like you're going to get some great hang time, especially going backwards through it. That turn looks really fun, and of course that spike thing, whatever you even want to call it, looks really cool, especially with that bunny hop. I'm sure if you're sitting in the front row, you're going to get a nice little dose of airtime going up into it. Overall though, this ride looks really fun. Definitely not the most insane coaster, not topping any of the coasters above it, but for such a small park, this looks like an excellent addition for Codaland. Next up, we have another Texas coaster, which is Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger, coming to Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. This ride is monumental for the fact that it is the first time that Six Flags will be building a coaster by B&M, Balzer, and Mabillard since 2012 with X-Flight at Six Flags Great America. I'm hoping that this coaster will show that Six Flags will start working with B&M again. B&M produces some extremely high quality, great attractions, and I hope that if this one's successful, which I'm sure it will be, that they're going to start putting them at other parks. This ride looks like it's going to be really fun. It's got a bit of a strange layout. It kind of starts off normal with the Immelman and then goes into a 0G roll and goes right into the mid-course brake run. The second half is just 2 helixes and an airtime hill. But that airtime hill has the potential to be absolutely insane if it's sloped the way it looks like it's going to be sloped from the animation. It's also really cool that this ride has a beyond vertical drop, which is a first for a B&M dive coaster, which is really cool. Next up, we have the other B&M dive coaster that will be opening this year that was supposed to open in 2020, but all SeaWorld and Busch Gardens coasters got delayed until 2022, other than Texas Stingray, which means that Emperor would be one of them. This ride does, however, look really good. It looks like it has a very strong layout that is fast-paced and has some great inversions. Pretty much very similar ride to Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger. I just think the layout just looks that much better. That pushes it over the edge a little bit. Next up, we have Icebreaker coming to SeaWorld Orlando. I actually got the chance to see this coaster last year in 2021, and honestly it looks really good despite the fact that it's more so of a family coaster. The park seems to be marketing this as a family thrill coaster, but I think it could be the second best coaster in the park if it's as good as some people have said it is. Some employees did get the chance to ride it. They said the ejector airtime on it is insanely powerful, and I believe it. This ride has a really cool start with the launch that goes forward, backward, and then forward again. Looks like that spike should be really fun, and that top hat should give some great airtime. This ride is full of ejector airtime hills and turns, and overall just looks like a really fun ride that'll fit great at SeaWorld Orlando. Next up, we have the first of 2 Disney coasters that will be on this list. Tron Light Cycle Run coming to Magic Kingdom in Orlando, Florida. This ride does already exist. It's a clone of the one in Shanghai, but that ride looks absolutely great with its really fast-paced ride and some really cool looking theming. It's nowhere near on the level of theming as something like Hagrid's or other really well-themed Universal or Disney attractions, but the coaster aspect looks really fun and it just looks like a very cool ride overall. Definitely excited to get on this whenever I make my way back down to Disney. The other Disney coaster on the list is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind coming to Epcot. Now, while I don't think this ride fits at Epcot at all, I do think on its own it will be a really good ride. This ride is manufactured by Vekoma and will be a launch coaster with spinning cars. It honestly looks like Disney's take on Hagrid's with a more unique ride style, on top of the fact that it's supposed to be very well themed. I'm a sucker for Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Guardians of the Galaxy is one of my favorite franchises inside the universe, so I'm very excited to get on a Marvel-themed attraction, especially themed to the Guardians of the Galaxy. Next up, we have Wonder Woman Flight of Courage coming to Six Flags Magic Mountain in California. This ride probably looks very familiar to a lot of my viewers. That's because it's a near identical clone to Jersey Devil Coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure. I, of course, have had the pleasure of riding Jersey Devil a ton of times, and I can say for sure this ride's going to be great. The ending on this one looks a little off and doesn't really look as straightforward as Jersey Devil's. The off-axis hill into the cutback kind of thing, I don't even know what it's supposed to be, looks very strange, and you're probably going to go pretty slow through it, but the rest of the layout, of course, looks great. I mean, I've experienced the rest of the layout, and it's a really solid ride. The second half definitely lacks a little bit, but the first half is really powerful with that drop, dive loop, airtime hill, stall, turnaround, 0G roll, and then pop up into the mid-course brake run. I'm sure this ride is going to be very successful for Six Flags Magic Mountain, and I would not be surprised at all if Six Flags clones this to a few other parks. Next up, we have Pantheon at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, which actually had its POV recently released. This ride was supposed to open in 2020, just like Icebreaker, Emperor, and another coaster that's above this on the list, but it did not. And I think it probably would have been better if it opened in 2020, because having ridden Velocicoaster kind of makes me not really all that excited for this ride. It definitely looks like it's going to have some really strong moments with the airtime pop on the launch, in addition to the top hat, outer bank, and a few other elements that look absolutely great, but Velocicoaster is just such a great ride, and I don't think this will be able to hold up against Velocicoaster. That's not to say this isn't going to be a great ride, because I'm sure it's going to be an excellent addition for BGW. Definitely going to be the best coaster they have there. But this ride definitely should have opened when it was planned to open, as it kind of looks like it was a teaser of Velocicoaster for us, which definitely would have made the ride feel a lot better. Granted, no one's ridden it yet, so I really can't speak for how the ride's going to be. But judging off of the testing footage and what we've seen, it looks like it's going to be a great ride, just not as good as Velocicoaster. Next up, we have Iron Gwazi coming to Busch Gardens Tampa. Like I said, with all the other SeaWorld coasters, this one was also supposed to open in 2020, but now is all the way pushed back to 2022. Like Icebreaker, I got to see this over the last summer, and it looks like an absolutely insane ride. I'm sure that drop's going to be insane, the barrel roll down is going to be nuts, and that outer bank right by the entrance is going to be sick. While it's a little on the short side considering it's a hyper hybrid, it definitely looks like it's going to be a really powerful ride. But I don't think it's going to be as powerful as what I have above it, which is Airy Force One, coming to Fun Spot Atlanta in Georgia. This ride looks incredible. It starts off with a really steep first drop that throws you up into a Jersey Devil-esque dive loop, which is one of the best elements on Jersey Devil, and I'm sure it's going to be great on this too. You then go right up into the stall, which is actually the longest stall on any RMC coaster, on any coaster period, which looks really cool. You're going to get some great hang time on that. Then you're going to go up into the outer bank and go through a Heartline roll right above the arcade, which if you've ridden Velocicoaster and gone through that Mosasaurus roll, that thing is insane. I'm not sure if this will pull the same kind of forces, but if it does, this is going to be the standout element of the ride. You also have a bunch of great airtime moments mixed in with turns, and of course you have a really long quad down that brings you into the brake run. Again, this is kind of short, similar to Iron Gwazi, but the reason I have it above Iron Gwazi is because it looks like it has more unique elements that's going to make it stand out from the other RMCs and overall make it one of my most anticipated new for 2022 coasters. That's going to do it for this video. I know I did not go over every coaster that will be being built in 2022, but that's because there are a lot both in America and internationally, and I highly recommend going on RCDB and checking out which parks are getting new coasters, because chances are there's a new coaster popping up not too far away from you. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.